Gurur-Brahma, Gurur-Vishnu, Gurur-Devo Maheshwara, Guru-Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om, 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 Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. So, in Mulavidya Nirasa, we shall discuss something today that Vachanam Gnapakam Natu Karakam. This was the point we were discussing. Anubhava Shrutyadayo Anubhavadayascha Yatha Sambhavam Hya Pramanam. So when Bhashyakara says Anubhava is the Pramana, Anubhava is the Prameya. See, two things. The Vedantic teaching culminates in Anubhava, one point. Now, two things one has to remember. Not only Anubhavavasanatvat, Bhutavastu Vishayatvatcha. At one place he says Anubhavavasanatvat, at one place Bhutavastu Vishayatvatcha. It is revealing an existing fact, a self-evident, self-existing fact. So, Bhutavastu Vishayatvacha, by this statement, Bhashyakara Shankaracharya says, it is an existing fact. Second, it is Anubhava Avasanatvat. So, the Jnanam, the teaching or the Jnanam Vedantic teaching culminates in Anubhava. Okay? One point is, it is a self-existing fact. It is not to be, we are not going to invent it, not going to bring it out. It is a self-existing fact. Second point about it is that the teaching or knowledge is going to culminate in Anubhava. Means, when the Vedanta teaches, it is not giving you an information about Brahman. It's not simply giving you an information and asking you to do something to discover it. Okay? The Vedantic teaching is not giving you a simply information, but it is awakening the intuition. You come to understand it right now. You are going to understand it right now. So, Anubhavavasanatvat. Vedantic knowledge is not an informative knowledge, but it culminates in an intuition, or it is an intuitive understanding. Up to this is okay. But another point about is, not only Vedantic teaching culminates in intuition, it takes the intuition as a means. This is also important. Anubhava, not only Anubhavadayascha Pramanam, not only the culminating knowledge, the awakening, not only the culminating knowledge, the awakening is an intuition, awakening is an Anubhava, but the means, the sadhana is also Anubhava. This is important. Not only the culmination is Anubhava, even while searching for it, even while inquiring, you take Anubhava as a basis. And just a minute. He says, Vedantic teaching not only culminates in intuition, but it takes help of intuition. It takes help of an existing universal intuitions. This is most important. We already have certain intuitions, partial intuitions about Brahman. Okay? We have partial intuitions which are universal in all beings. So Vedanta takes these partial intuitions as a basis, as a means to be able to reach the absolute intuition, okay, or partial anubhavas. It takes the partial anubhavas as a basis to do vichara and culminates in the absolute intuition, purna anubhava. Pakshika anubhava it takes and culminates into the absolute anubhava, purna anubhava. So this is the difference. Purnanubhava and Pakshika Anubhava. What are they? Waking, dream and deep sleep. These are all, these three states. If you take Sushupti also as a state, if you take Sushupti also as a state, we have got three states. All these three states are partial anubhavas of Brahman only. They all these three are anubhavas of Brahman only, but on examining them, you come to arrive at an absolute anubhava. So, waking, dream and deep sleep are the experiences which are the means for understanding, for gaining an absolute intuition. Absolute anubhava, that is Brahman, that is the same thing is Sushupti seen as an anubhava. Not as a state, but as the very truth, self-existing truth. So that is Purna Anubhava. Therefore, in Vedanta, Anubhava is used as a means and knowledge is waking up. That means awakening to the self-existing fact. So Vedanta starts with Anubhava, the examination is within the Anubhava, ultimately culminating in the absolute Anubhava. Vedanta throughout, the teaching of Vedanta is throughout the Anubhavas only. Okay, this is what we were discussing. We shall proceed now. Okay, we have already taken a long time. Yadatu tarkodbalanaya vakyamupanyashyate vakyopasarjanatvena va tarkaha tada vakyam pratibadina. The topic is Vakya Yukti Anubhavanam Katha Praveshana Kramaha. Vakya, Yukti and Anubhava. Okay. Vakya is an authoritative text, either of a guru or a saint or a Upanishad or Vedanta or somebody, some Shastra. An authoritative text, logic, that is reasoning, and also Anubhava. These three, when to quote these three, when to refer, when to appeal to Anubhava, when to refer an authoritative text, during the discussion, during the debate, when are we supposed to quote an authoritative text, an authoritative statement? When are we supposed to use the logic? When are we supposed to appeal Anubhavas? Okay. So the place of these three, authoritative text, Yukti and Anubhava, these three, when to use during discussion, during debate. Otherwise, these days, people have been randomly or haphazardly using these three. There is no coordination, there is no reason, there is no rhyme, all astavasta, disorderly. They are using anything as a reply to anything. So first we have discussed, if you quote a text, the text cannot mean anything big. See, there are 2-3 points we have discussed. One is when the meaning of the text itself is under dispute. When the meaning of the text is under dispute, it means there is a different interpretations to a particular text. Text means a statement. If a Shastra statement has got different meanings for the different people, so the same statement people take in different meanings. So that means it is not decided what is the exact and correct meaning of this statement. When still people are differing, varying interpretations, giving varying interpretations, if I quote a text in particular sense, see, Shastra says this, therefore I am proven, my idea is proven. Can I say that my idea is proven by quoting a text? When is it possible? When the meaning of the text is unanimously accepted by all. If the meaning of the text is unanimously not accepted, different people interpret differently, take the sentence to mean different things. If I quote it, I am quoting it in one sense, whereas the other person doesn't agree with the meaning, he takes the same statement in another sense. Somebody takes in another sense. If 5 people take the same statement in 5 different meanings, so which of the meanings, in defense of which of the meanings am I quoting the text? In defense of which of the 5 meanings am I quoting the text? So the text proves which of the 5 meanings. You can't simply quote a text which is disputed, means whose meaning is not yet decided. Okay? Then in that case, what should we do? We have to go for logic only. Okay, so some people may not believe the very Shastra. 2 things are there. Some people may not believe that Shastra at all and they are independent thinkers. Other people accept the Shastra, but regarding that particular statement, they have a different meaning to, different interpretation to give. In either case, you can't quote the text. I quote the text, a particular authoritative text, which you don't believe. Which you don't believe that person as an authority, and I quote it. He says, we don't accept him. Now, how can you prove anything? That means, what is a common basis? Is there a truth? Yeah. If there is a truth, is it common to all? First, let us come to the basic points. Is there a truth? Is it common to all of us? Is it commonly self-evident to all of us? Is it a universal fact? If it is a universal fact, it should be available universally to all. If it is universally available, everybody should be able to refer to it. Then that is the basis for deciding, understanding the truth. Otherwise, what are not accepted, universally not accepted, like the authoritative texts, or certain saints. Saints are not universally unanimously accepted by all people. Statements also not accepted. Then you have to use the logic. If the authoritative text is not accepted, then you have to use directly logic, because logic is common to all. Logic is nobody's personal property, isn't it? Logic is nobody's personal property. Everybody, regarding the authoritative texts of a given saint or a given Shastra, some people believe one Shastra, some people may not believe. Some people accept one saint, another person may not accept that saint. So, in that case, their authoritative statements cannot be quoted when other people are not convinced of it. Then you have to use directly logical. But in some other context where the authoritative text is accepted, for example, Upanishad is accepted by all Hindus, yet then regarding the same Upanishadic statements, there are different traditions, each one gives his own different interpretation. Then in that case, if I quote, as I told you already, in which, assuming the which meaning as the real meaning of it, do I quote? If I assume particular meaning as the real meaning of it, other person disputes it, then that quotation cannot prove. By quoting the statement, I cannot prove my point by quoting a disputed by quoting a text whose meaning, whose interpretation is disputed. Okay? Disputed means people give different varieties of meanings. Then in that case, what we should do? We have to determine the meaning of the text first with Mimamsa. With the rules of Mimamsa, first determine the meaning of the text. Once it is determined, unanimously accepted, then that statement is ready for quoting. Ready for quoting because its meaning is accepted by all, because the meaning is determined according to the rules of Mimamsa. Okay. Then where simply authoritative text is not enough. Authoritative text alone is not enough. You have to, that authoritative text has to refer to Anubhava. There we must refer to Anubhava also. Without referring to Anubhava, simply authoritative text cannot decide. This was the point we were discussing. We discussed already. I am just briefly reviewing. Okay? Remember, I am briefly reviewing. Already we have discussed. So for this, Purvapakshi told, how can we have an Anubhava? Because we are living in the human body, in the human life, in human janma. Manushya janma we are living. A person living in the human body cannot have a Brahmanubhava similar to Swarganubhava, Vaikuntanubhava. If I refer to Swarganubhava, Vaikuntanubhava, can you say that, yes, I too have Swarganubhava? You are correct. Do you agree? Yes, I too have. See, a person living in a human body, in a human janma, human loka, he cannot have an experience of Swarga, he cannot have an experience of Vaikunta right now. Therefore, those experiences are to occur at a later stage after leaving the human body. After leaving the human body, you will get Swarganubhava or those Vaikuntanubhava, etc. according to your karma. So you cannot verify. While living in the human body, if I talk of heaven, because Upanishad says that there is heaven, now can you verify that experience of heaven right now? You can't verify. Because those anubhavas are outside the human anubhavas, outside the Manushya Janma anubhava. Manushya Janma permits only certain anubhavas within the human level. The other divine level or even Brahmaloka level, and the other level of anubhavas you cannot have now. So they are out of your experience, you cannot refer to them. Okay? Therefore, Purvapakshi says, how can you say that the Upanishadic statements have to be verified in your Anubhava? They have to tally, they have to match with your Anubhava. Then only the meaning becomes clear. He says, Siddhanti replies, no, it is different. Swarganubhava or Vaikuntanubhava is a new Anubhava. Okay? Swarganubhava, Vaikuntanubhava is a new Anubhava. It has to come at a later stage. But Brahmanubhava is a universal experience and self-existing experience. Okay? Brahmanubhava is a universal and self-existing, ever-existing. So, Brahmanubhava is beyond all this. Elaborately we discussed, briefly I am touching here. So, it is a universal experience and a self-existing. Everybody has it. So, you can verify what Upanishad says, you can verify, or in other words, the Upanishadic statement has to be understood in tallying with your Anubhava, in relation with your Anubhava, in the light of your Anubhava. So, in the light of your Anubhava, Upanishadic statement has to be understood. So, by the divested of the Anubhava, only Upanishadic statement will give you a concept. So, Upanishad is not teaching a concept which you will experience as an Anubhava at a later stage. No. Upanishad is not giving an idea now which will be experienced at some time later. No. It is referring to an Anubhava which is already existing in you. And that is a universal experience. Brahmatvam is a universal fact. It is a universal truth, the truth behind the entire universe, the truth behind me and you and everybody. It is the truth of the entire universe. Therefore, that truth is universally present, universally evident. Okay? It is universally present and universally evident. And that universal evident doesn't depend upon space and time. Like heaven and Vaikuntha Anubhava have to be in another state of mind. They have to exist in another time, another place. You have to experience through another state of mind. See the difference? You have to see, as a Manusha, I am living in a one loka, in one time, one place, and in one condition of the mind. So to be able to experience heaven, I need another period, another time, another place, and another condition of my mind. But whereas for Brahman is not limited to any given time, so that you have to wait for another period of time, then only you can experience Brahman. Brahman is the basis of time. So, in all periods of time, past, present and future, at any time in the universe, the entire time exists in the universal truth. That is called Brahman. So, Brahman is the basis of all periods of time. So, you can't say that Brahman is existing at one time and not at another time. So, the Brahmanubhava is not limited to a given time, like the Manusha Janmanubhava, Swarganubhava, Vaikunthanubhava. These are all specific anubhavas, pertaining to specific time, specific place, and a specific state of mind. But Brahmanubhava is not something that pertains to a given period of time, a given place, or a given state of mind. It is the underlying basis of all time. It is the underlying basis of all space. And it is the underlying of all states of mind. Okay, the various states of mind we have. The mind undergoes change. Okay, assumes various states from the animal janma, or a plant janma, or even a naraka anubhava, or swarga anubhava, Pitruloka, Vaikuntaloka. These are all the various experiences a jiva undergoes. So jiva's mind assumes these various states. Okay, but Brahmatvam is not a specific experience, a specific state like any of these. Okay, like a plant life, like an insect life, insect janma, plant janma, or Kita janma, Vruksha janma, or Pashupakshadi janma, Manushya janma, Swarganubhava, Narakanubhava, Vaikunthanubhava. So these are all specific anubhavas, specific states of mind. Okay, but Brahmatvam, which is the universal truth, the truth of the entire universe, is not confined to any of these states. It is not another state similar to these. Okay, it's not totally a separate, exclusive experience away from all these experiences, outside these experiences. It is underlying all the experiences, underlying all the time, underlying all the place. So you are never free from your being Brahma. You are never devoid of being Brahma in any place, in any condition. Even when you are in a plant life, even when you are in Krimikitaka, in the insect life, even when you are in Manusha Janma, even when you are in Naraka life, in all the experiences, you being Brahman is never rejected. That fact remains intact. Therefore, your Brahmatvam, everybody being Brahma, is always a universal truth, which is undeniable, unchangeable, unrejected, the undeniable fact. So, that Brahmanubhava is a common basis of all experiences. You can't compare the Brahmanubhava with other heavenly Swarga and Vaikuntha experiences. Therefore, when Upanishad is teaching Brahmatvam, that is a universal experience, it is a universal truth, self-evident to all. self-existing anubhava and self-evident to all. Nobody can deny it. Nobody need to acquire that experience specially and separately. It is not to be acquired. It is not to be found in a given condition. It is not exclusive anubhava. It doesn't exclude anything. It is all inclusive. You being Brahman is a universal self-existing fact. It is all-inclusive experience. Therefore, it is always present. Whenever you look that side, you find it. Whenever, in whatever condition you look, all that you need is to turn your attention to it. It is there. It is there. You are Brahman. The fact remains ever existing. You only have to turn your attention. If you are in a particular janma, your mind may not be prepared to turn its attention towards it. Therefore, it looks that Brahmatvam Anubhavam is difficult to gain. Brahmanubhava is difficult to gain because the mind is incapable of turning its attention. Mind is stubbornly focused towards one direction alone. It is not ready to withdraw its attention from one direction. It is unable to focus its attention, unable to pay its attention to universal fact. Therefore, the mind which is stubbornly holding and focusing on one attention, one angle of attention, this is where you are stuck. You are stuck with a particular state of mind, particular condition of mind. That's what is our karma, and our karma brings about a particular state of mind. We are stuck with a particular janma. When the karma is exhausted, then your mind becomes free. It enters into another state. So, according to the karma, according to your samskara, two things, karma as well as samskaras. Accordingly, the mind assumes a particular state and it will be capable of getting certain experiences of certain level alone. But if the mind is purified means it is not fixed. It removes its rigidity, the fixation. The mind becomes what you call flexible. Mind becomes like a spring. It is a flexible. It is not fixed. It is relaxed and purified. That means it can easily pay attention to another angle. It is not forced. If mind is under compulsion, under certain pressure of desires, ego, and all these things, they only say the fixation of the mind. It is like water. If it is solidified, it is fixed. The same water, if it is melted, it can be poured into any vessel. The water in a liquid form can be easily poured into another mold and it can assume in another form. But if the mind is like an ice cube, that means it is frozen, it becomes fixed. So that piece of ice, you can't put it into another vessel because it is frozen. Similarly, mind has to be purified, made into a liquid. Okay, this is called antakarana shuddhi. The purification of mind means mind's fixation is removed. So our desires, our ego, our attachments, they are all fixations. Mind's fixation with certain people, with certain events, with certain objects, with certain experiences, with certain ideas, with certain feelings, it gets fixed. So to the extent it is fixed, it is frozen, to that extent it is unable to extract itself from that thing. It is unable to be flexible. Okay, it is unable. So that means it is inflexible, it got fixed. So this is called impurities. So tamasa, rajasa, gunas make us like this. So when you get rid of tamasa, rajasa, gunas by practicing spiritual qualities of shraddha, bhakti, prayers, and all many things, meditations and values, vairagyam and all that. So that requires a maturity of the mind. Then mind becomes open-minded, unprejudiced, not rigid, not ambitious, over-ambitious, not angry, not hateful of one person or a group of people. It just sees every human being as universal people. Okay, in all living beings, he has the same universal attitude of a simple, a gentle love for everybody without attachment. So that simple mind gets rid of its fixation. The frozen state, it becomes smooth like water. So you pour into any other vessel, it can easily assume in another vessel, another form of a vessel. Such a mind is a pure mind. So if we have that mind, then that mind can be made, just I give an example like of water. Similarly, mind becomes purer. That pure mind can easily pay attention as the Vedanta teaches. It can take up the Vedanta Vichara. It can pay attention, can instantly see the universal experience which is always there. It can transcend the individuality. The individual outlook is only getting fixed. First, we are getting fixed to our body, a location, a time, a place, an individuality. Through individuality, you are related to certain people, certain language, certain experiences of pain and pleasure. So, emotionally, intellectually, physically, through sense organs, we get related to certain things. Our samskara means what? Old habits. Whatever we have experienced before, we carry certain impressions on our mind. Those impression means it wants you to look at the same thing. For example, you have been insulted, you are hurt. So after the hurt is over, event is over, still you carry the hurt as if the event is still continuing. It is over long before. 10 years ago somebody humiliated, I am hurt, that is over now. Why can't we forget that hurt and can just see the person with a simple me? No, we can't do. Just like a baby, we just hold on to that hurt. Guilt and hurt, these are all experiences. The old experiences, they leave certain impressions like hurt and guilt, and still we live in those old feelings, old experiences alone. And if you can purify them, it becomes like a clean mirror. It can reflect anything. Otherwise, if it carries the old picture means old experiences still sticking to it in the form of guilt and hurt, it can't reflect in another object because it is partly carrying that old one. So this is where require a purification. Everybody is hurt. Everybody has to undergo a lot of humiliation, sufferings, injustices, social, economic, or physical, many other things, even emotionally. Whom you love, they just cheat you, they misunderstand you, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously, sometimes many reasons. I tell you, there are so many reasons. All these things everybody goes through, everybody suffers. So they all leave certain hurts and guilts and certain wounds in our heart. And those wounds are not simple wounds, we simply forget them. We can't forgive them, we are unable to come out of them, we are unable to make our mind simply like a mirror. This requires a lot of maturity. This is where we need karma, yoga, bhakti, and all your karma yoga, various values, your guru seva and your parental seva, service to your parents, all these values, the social value, spiritual value, human values, all those values have been given by certain good human beings have given certain values, and certain religions also taught certain good values. We can take all these good human values and even religious values given by religions, leaving out their dogmas and bigotry. Okay, leaving out those things, you can take good simple love and forgiveness, service, without making a big prejudice about it. The concept of God, any concept is okay. It is the divinity, it is the godliness that is important. Which God is not a particular thing. So tentatively you have one concept of God, some noble idea and noble form. I tell you, some noble idea, a broad idea, a noble form, noble idea, a broad idea is what God is. So at a given time, whatever form, whatever quality you can think of, take it as a God that helps you. You can pray to it, worship it. You also can grow along with it. By worshipping that idea, that concept, you also try to become broad-hearted and then a good person. Okay, then as you grow, your understanding of God, your idea of God becomes still deeper and still vaster idea of God. Again you grow, your idea of God still vaster. Like this, problem with the people is they have a fixed concept of God and start quarreling. Atheists say that, prove that this God is existing. Another person says, how can that be God? All these quarrels are just childish, because everybody has got a fixed concept of God. You have an idea of him and you want to quarrel. But Hinduism never quarreled over the idea of God, because no, we have different ideas, but we didn't make them as a big issue. There have been little arguments, disputes, okay, but still we leave them. In spite of differing with the idea of God, we leave them. We differ and still leave them, but don't quarrel. Still we accept the other person with whom we don't agree. He may have a different idea of God, still he is a saint. We talk to them, we respect them, we do Sashtanga Namaskara to them, he is a saintly person. So in spite of having a different concept of God, we worship him, and we don't see that respecting him is against my sadhana. Okay? It doesn't disturb my sadhana if I respect another saintly person. In spite, we appreciate his devotion to God, though he may have a different concept of God, but his simple devotion, a simple surrender, loving, prayerful heart, that we appreciate. He may have a different concept of God, but the devotion is same. Because the selfless surrender, the loving nature, the forgiveness, the melting away of ego, these are all common. Therefore, the concept of God did not create a problem to us even now. But sometimes it is creating, because it is only influence of these Abrahamic religions. They are also, they are bombarding on Hindu society here, and they are creating the concept of God and quarrel over the idea of God, because they have it and they want to see everybody should quarrel in the name of God, because they can't feel that why we alone should quarrel. These two Abrahamic religions, why we alone should quarrel over the nature of God, concept of God and all that. Let everybody share our quarrel and our mutual hatred. Let the whole world be, let us distribute our hatred and our narrow and fixed concept of God to everybody. In Hinduism, we say, whatever concept of God you have, it should be little nobler, higher than your present state. A noble idea. It should inspire some noble qualities, some selflessness, some generosity, okay, some endurance. So any noble idea, noble form of beauty, a noble form, noble energy, higher energy, a noble quality of love and care and etc. All those good qualities, kindness, compassion, etc. Any nobler, higher quality, all those qualities belong to godly quality. They are godly qualities. So if whatever form, whatever quality you think of, okay, that should be higher than you, and then you absorb those qualities by praying, by living up to him, by imitating him, whatever you do. By praying, you absorb, you try to cultivate those qualities, your mind becomes little purer, little generous. So you have grown little bit. So now with this grown state, again you look at God, he looks a little more wider, little more generous, little more deeper. Okay? Then you move little higher, again looks. So your idea of God keeps shifting, keeps updating as you become a better person, more saintly person. Your idea of God becomes larger. Ultimately, he is a universal, he swallows everything, then everything is Brahman. Okay? Therefore, God is what we understand at this stage. Some idea you may have it, but don't worry, that is a tentative idea you have, but it is definitely nobler than the present state. It is a nobler idea than the present state. A selfless idea, a generous idea, a kind, compassionate, unprejudiced, unegoistic idea. Form is also a beautiful form, a shining form. So therefore, the idea of God never became a contention, never became a quarrel, because it is only a helpful for bringing out, for learning spiritual qualities, for bringing out spiritual qualities in you. So as long as it inspires you noble values, noble ideas, noble thoughts, noble feelings, a deeper feelings, a universal feelings, that to remember, a universal noble feelings, not selfish, dividing, hating and all that. Okay? As long as it inspires whatever concept you have, all these concepts represent certain aspect of same Ishvara. Okay? All these concepts of God, various concepts of God people hold about God, they all represent certain aspect of same Paramatma, same Ishvara. According to your capacity, you see that angle, that aspect of Ishvara. But as long as it should be a noble idea and it should inspire you certain noble values, feelings and thoughts. Okay? Noble actions, good actions. So therefore, how it gives me a strength, a courage to endure certain things, to suffer. So these are all noble qualities, it inspires me. So that principle, that idea which inspires you is Ishvara. Therefore, Ishvara is a moving principle. Because as you keep growing, you also understand more about Him, more about Him. As you grow, your God also grows with you. Okay? You are a small baby. As a baby, how do you understand God? You understand God to be somebody, some nice person like your mother or father. Okay? You imagine God is like your mother and father. As you grow, your understanding keeps growing. Understanding of God keeps growing. Ultimately, when you dissolve completely, the Jivatvam dissolves, then everything is God alone, there is nothing non-God. So therefore, that's what so when everything is God, then where is the question of which is God, which is not God? This looks very silly. So when whole thing is Brahman alone, ultimate truth is absolute. Where everything is Brahman alone, God alone, neither you nor me nor the world nor objects, time, space, objects, thinking, thoughts, feelings, body, whole thing is one Brahman. They don't exist as they are, they melt away into one universal truth. Okay, therefore, the concept of God should not create a problem. If it creates a problem, then it is not God. So the Asura has entered in the name of God. If the idea of God, concept of God is creating problems, it is inspiring ignoble values instead of noble values, noble feelings, noble thoughts. It inspires certain ugly Rajasa, Tamasa thoughts, Asuric feelings, and you justify them, defend them in the name of your concept of God. You start ill-treating. You think that by ill-treating others, your God will be pleased. Because God doesn't accept the other person. He is a follower of Satan and I am a follower of God. This is a problem. Okay? So the other person is not, God is not on his side. God is on my side. God selects certain people, divides people and rejects some people. We belong to group of God. Others don't belong to the. This is ridiculous. This is what in the name of God we are dividing. Divisiveness is with hatred. Okay. Now the concept of God, the idea of God is undermined. It's destroyed. Asuratva has entered. In the name of God, the very Asuratvam means a non-God, anti-God, whatever word you may use in English. So Asuratva means ignoble, selfish, narrow, negative values. That's all. Negative ideas, negative feelings, negative thoughts, too selfish, torturing, exploiting, hurting, all these things. If these ideas that your concept of God inspires you, maybe partly that, partly this. Sometimes they say partly have a good idea, partly have a bad idea. But even then, an element of Asura has entered into your idea of God. Okay? People are of different levels. Because like babies grow, baby has certain understanding. But you are a grown-up boy, you have a better understanding. Why do you want to hurt the baby? Even if you explain, baby can't understand. Whatever baby's understanding, let it have. First, concentrate on the growth of the baby. When the baby grows in its heart, in its understanding, maturity, it will it will change its idea of God as it grows. Concentrate on the growth of the baby. Therefore, concentrate on the growth of the people. Let them have a good values, good ideas. When the heart becomes larger, they will have a larger understanding of God. Therefore, don't insist on the particular fixed concept of God and then start quarreling. Okay? Any principle, you may call it God. It may be a tentative idea or whatever idea. If you have an idea of God, If that idea inspires you certain good and noble qualities, noble ideas, a strength and thing, that is tentatively God for you. Okay? That's God for you. Don't quarrel with that idea as long as it inspires good. But if there is an element of negative, then remove that element. Don't call it God. Okay, this is the simple fact. So we don't need big discussion about this religion. Therefore, we discuss only Vedanta. We never discuss religion. We discuss only Vedanta. Religion means this Adi Daivika. Just now I have discussed. Concept of God and heaven and all that. What is there to discuss? A certain idea to understand. That idea, that principles inspires you good thoughts, good actions, a good life and all that. Okay? A noble life it inspires. So how it inspires good values, a good life, and how much you are able to live that life. We concentrate on living the life. Noble values and living. That's all. In religious life only means this. Not about the concept. No dispute, no discussions about religious life, religious concepts. Religious concepts are not meant for discussion. Because they give you a tentative idea. The basic purpose of idea is to inspire certain values, make you live a noble life. We only give certain examples, explanations, certain instances to explain, show the other life. Any person belonging to any religion, anywhere, any concept of God, see the good and noble values in him and accept that, see, God in certain different form has inspired him. Take those values and see how he is inspired, how he is doing certain good things and good values he follows. So we take these things. So in the religious life, no disputes about the dogmas. First thing is, dogma itself is a meaningless thing. Meaningless means it should not form a basis for disputes, quarrels and killing and then persecution and all that. So we discuss only Vedanta, because Vedanta is a point to be discussed. It is a matter of self-inquiry, like a scientific inquiry. In belief, where is the inquiry? We only see with the concept of God, how it inspires you in good values, good ideas, good thoughts and noble, deeper thoughts and deeper ideas. That's all we concentrate there. And once it inspires you, now live them. Live those values. That's all. Noble values, noble ideas inspired, and start living them. So in religious is only a living, not quarreling about concepts and ideas. In Vedanta we discuss. That is a vichara. Only in Vedanta, only in philosophy we have to discuss, because that is a matter of inquiry. You have to observe, examine and discover the facts. Okay? So our mind is narrow, or it has got one aspect of it, missed another aspect of it. Then you want a comprehensive understanding, a deepest understanding, the correct and right understanding. So in these things, you have to keep on correcting your tentative misunderstandings, different various levels of misunderstandings we go through. While we go through, we correct a certain level of misunderstanding. Again, deeply you go, again misunderstanding. Again, you keep on growing, ultimately. Your understanding of the truth is absolute truth. Okay? In Vedanta alone, vichara, thinking is possible. In religion, we never quarreled. There have been few people, we don't say that there was no quarrel. There have been human beings, as long as human beings are there, human beings have their own egos and they add their egos to their religion. So here also in India also, but they are very far, very rare and very few events. And time to time our own people of all traditions, all bhaktas, all forms of God, they themselves, the real saintly people belonging to each tradition, they themselves reject them. They say, hey, don't quarrel with others. They themselves will tell. In fact, the real saints, the real bhaktas of each tradition mix with other very lovingly and very with a great devotion to each other. See, the saints of each sampradaya, when they meet other saint, you can see them. What a loving, what a simple compassion. Though they may have a different concept, still when they meet each other, oh, it's a very noble, and to see, it's a very inspiring. Even now we see them. Saints of different schools, different upasakas, Shiva, Vishnu, and all this, they meet each other even now. So therefore, for common people, for beginners, it's an ideal for them. So common people do, a few people do here and there. And time to time people check them, don't quarrel based upon your just a concept of God. We just leave it. They discourage them. So they may do a little bit of this thing. we just ignore them, or sometimes we discourage them, then it will end up. Again, here and there may happen. But these are all human weaknesses, we leave them. But if you organize it and there is those concept of God, then the hating other and then demeaning other, degrading other, destroying others' temples is your tradition, is a part of your dogma, then it becomes dangerous. If it is an organized dogma of destroying others' temples, and then see that others' temples are wiped out and destroyed, and call them as destined to hell, we alone go to heaven, this is ridiculous. This is only where the asura has entered into your idea of God. Asuratvam has entered. There is no God. Therefore, in a religious level, it should be two things are required. In religious means upasana, simple bhakti, prayers, and all rituals and service. At this level, Adi Daivika, we call in Sanskrit Adi Daivika. That is, in upasana level, in ritual or religious level, what is required is a simple faith. So you try to purify the faith. Purifying the faith means raise your quality of your heart, your behavior, your thoughts, your thinking. They should be more and more purified. Okay, the concentration is in faith and purification. Faith and purification, and that is most important. What concept of God, that don't quarrel with that. See, even here, even if you have different forms of Rama, Krishna, Shiva, people think that the same God whom I am worshipping, he is giving a different thought to another person. God knows better than me. Why should I quarrel with another person? If he has got some different concept of God, who has given it is my same God has given him another idea. Why should go and quarrel with him? If necessary, God will correct him. Should go, see here, but these two religions, Abrahamic religions, they won't leave it to God. If suppose one person has a misunderstanding, they leave it to God. God will correct him, will give him right understanding. No, they will say that we should go and convert him, we should destroy his religion, we should destroy his temple. Now these people have taken over God's job. That creates a problem. This is what dogma is. So we say God will give them. They themselves will understand. Some saint will be born in that tradition, in their this thing. He will understand the true nature. He will tell them, hey, don't be too narrow. Ultimately, God means who inspires noble values, noble feelings, devotion, surrender, egolessness, and all that. Okay. But don't add. One more thing about it is, one is this one point. So you deepen your mind, your thoughts, your purification, rather than quarrel regarding the concept of God. First point. Second thing is, don't impose on others. Don't criticize others, don't quarrel with others, don't impose on others. Same God is giving a different idea to different people. How he is, what he is, God has got infinite forms, infinite aspects. This is one more about India. Our God has got infinite aspects, infinite forms. So he may show another aspect of him to another person, and he may be showing this aspect to me. Why should I quarrel? Because the same God, have I understood my God completely now? I am seeing certain aspect of him, certain depth of him, but he may have some more deeper levels, deeper aspects. So he may be showing another aspect to another person. Why should I narrow down my God? My God is infinite. Which I see some of them, some aspect of him, some aspect which I don't know, probably that God is showing to another person. So another person sees in another form, another quality. But basic qualities are good. That he inspires noble qualities, noble values is common to all. Okay? Noble qualities, noble values, noble ideas, a noble behavior, life is common to all. In this, common to all. Nobody should do this. So second thing is, don't impose on others. Don't send others to hell, that you alone will go to heaven, and therefore you have to interfere in his religion, destroy his temple, and force him to come to my religion. These three things, some people have indulged even now. But once the seniors tell them, then they'll keep quiet. But again, certain other people do. So now when then it comes, but it is not an organized way. It is not the Shastra teaching it their own personal weaknesses. Due to personal weaknesses, those things happen. But the Shastras, their Sampradayas discourage them. Don't do that. They say that's ridiculous. So this way, the tolerating different aspects of God, different forms, different upasanas, different traditions, live together, coexist, they continue. And they have not become a problem, social problem, persecutions, invasions, destroying civilizations and cultures, or destroying their books, their temples, their traditions. Wars didn't happen. There might be, there were wars due to certain other reasons, but not this. Okay, because there have been devotions. See, the same temple, if the two people quarrel, both of them come to the same temple, they worship the same God, but nobody thought that he is his God, therefore I should destroy him. Nobody ever felt it. The same God, we go and do namaskara and tell him that give me strength and he bless me with success, with victory. And that person also comes next day, he worships the same temple and asks him, asks the God to bless him with a victory. Both of them seek victory and quarrel. So the God is blessing both. So they never bring the God into their dispute. And the priests also. The priest is common to both. Priest means the worshipper, the pujari, who helps you in worshipping. Though he blesses both the people. So both of them worship, respect the same priest. If one of them wins, the other person comes and gives the gifts to the same priest. Whoever wins comes and gives the gifts, gives dakshina, does namaskara to the same Brahmana. Brahmanas never sided with who wins and who loses, because it is their different reasons. God doesn't inspire, but Abraham, God himself says, go and quarrel, go and this thing and you will win. He may do, but it is on the behalf of Dharma, not on the concept of God. Dharma, adharma, there have been quarrels. Noble values and negative values, and ego and egolessness, there have been quarrels. But the concept of God, there was no quarrel. In the name of God, in the name of dogma, in the name of religion, the quarrels didn't happen. So Dharma is not religion. Dharma is values, ethics, your duty, so those things. If a person has become a social problem, if a person becomes social problem, or if a group of people create problem to society, they don't allow other people, good people to live their life, then other people oppose it. You can't do that. You allow the people to live their life as long as they follow the basic human values. Don't interfere. One more point is, give time to people. You can't impose any nobler idea. If you have a better understanding of God, don't impose. Nobody can impose. Each person has to grow to that level to be able to understand God in a higher level, in a deeper level. If a person is like a child, understands a lower level, don't impose. Encourage him, explain to him, inspire him if you can do. But he will grow, he will take his own time. Each person takes his own time to grow, to be able to understand Paramatma. If a person doesn't have a broader, deeper understanding of God, leave him. That's how Hindus have tolerated these Abrahamic religions, their mischief, what they have created in India. We thought that they will grow, they will understand, understand that the same God which they are talking of, it is the same which Hindus are also worshipping. Why unnecessarily destroying our temple? Hindus thought that they will understand. They will understand, let them grow, let them become a better people. But they never grow and never understood. Because a dogma never grows. Okay? Dogma never grows. A religious group never grows. The religious practice, there is no growing. Growing is not a part of their religion. Accept a dogma, take it fixed one, and live all your life. And then after death you go to heaven. So there, the idea of God doesn't improve, doesn't change, doesn't widen, deepen, because you don't grow. The growth is not a part of them. We can see in India, anyway, I don't know how the things are outside India, but in India, almost all the people, whoever is prominent people, well-known people, all of them have got fixed dogma. They never see them openness, never see them changing, never see them growing. They all die until the last day. We live with the same dogma that other religions have to be destroyed, temples have to be destroyed, we have to convert whole India to Christianity or whole India to Islam. So even the most so-called saintly also talk of the same thing. So in India we see only such people only. So we can see clearly here, there is no religion, it is a fixed dogma, and the fixed dogma only doesn't inspire any noble values. Fixed dogma and the same practice of hatred and persecution, imposition. Fixed dogma only inspires fixation of actions. Okay, it inspires only the persecution, imposition, demonizing other religions, Hinduism, Hindu gods and Hindu shastras. Hindu saints, they talk negatively about Shankaracharya because the fixed dogma only inspires these kind of feelings. They don't see any goodness, greatness. They only look at the people. If there is a large following, it's more like a political talk. If there is a large following of a given saint, and they talk a little gently, and once they get a chance, again they demean them, demonize them. They wait for a chance to demonize. They only tentatively, diplomatically avoid doing it at the moment, but once they get the chance, they do it same. So here, a dogma is fixed. What it inspires is the same negative thoughts, negative feelings, negative actions. And these are organized. They have no patience with others. Therefore, people say, why Hindus are tolerating? They thought that Hindus, because they have no idea of dogma. They don't know what is dogma, that there can be a dogma, that a dogma can inspire a person to hate others in the name of God, in the name of religion, that Hindus are unable to understand even now. Even now, I tell you, in the 21st century, Hindus are unable to understand. That there can be such feelings, such thoughts, and such thing can be called religion. Not only neither common man understands, nor intellectuals understand, nor Swamis, Gurus, Pitadipatis can understand. I am telling you openly, I am sorry to say that. With all, I seek their forgiveness, because they never seen that a dogma can be a religion. They don't know. They think that they also have a certain concept of God. They worship in their own way. So they also will grow. They are growing. Once they grow, their understanding of God broadens and deepens. They will understand they will not hurt Hindus, and they will not destroy Hindu temples. They will not demonize Hindu acharyas, Hindu gurus, Hindu thing. They will not distort the Hindu history. They are thinking, still waiting that, no, they are still behaving like children, but they will grow. They will grow. They will grow. Because no person can remain fixed like that. As they grow, as they deepen in their religious life, they will be. This is the hope Hindus have. Therefore, Hindus are unable to understand. In spite of losing Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Kashmir also lost, still Hindus are waiting that they will become open and they will see that the same God we are also worshipping. You may call Allah, you may call God or Jehovah, whatever you may, Jehovah or anything you may use. These are all different names, but the same God we are also worshipping. They will understand one day. They don't know. All understandings are blocked by the dogma. Dogma doesn't permit you to understand that it is the same God all worship. It doesn't allow them. Hindus have failed. Even now they are unable to understand that there is such a thing called dogma. Because the word dogma they don't have, and they are unable to imagine that there can be a dogma. This is the biggest problem with Hindus. With all their Vedanta, with all their deepest understanding of religion, spirituality, values, society, all everything, they live, they follow, they understand. But there is a dogma, and there are certain dogmas in some religions, and they do like this. They have just no idea of what it is. This is a very strange thing. Okay, so once the mind becomes free, it grows. So the religion helps. Religion helps in expanding, in deepening your heart, purifying your heart. Then the rigidity of the heart brought by the mind is fixed due to karma. Mind is under the pressure of karma, pressure of samskara. Okay? Mind under the pressure of karma, past karma, pressure of samskara, it assumes a certain form, certain condition, certain situation, certain behavior, certain feelings and thoughts. It lives within that. So you exhaust the karma, change your samskara. Exhaust the karma, change the samskara, create a better karma, create a better samskara. The same mind becomes a better mind, purer mind, flexible mind. It is capable of doing vichara. Therefore, the normal human values also, we take them as a sadhana. Normal social values, good customs, good habits, good practices, okay, in social life. Normal common sense values also we include in our religion. And religious values, religious feelings also we include. As long as they inspire good values, good thoughts, good feelings, we include all of them. And once antakarana siddhi takes place, then the real vichara, real inquiry is in Vedanta only. In religion, how it inspires, as I told you, that it should inspire. Tentatively, you have a concept of God, one aspect of God, it is good enough. You don't have to say that whole God, whatever aspect of God, some noble values and ideas you have, enough. If they inspire you good ideas, keep following them. And as you grow, you will understand your God much better. As you grow, you understand better. So this is how we can't impose, we can't decide this is God now and everybody must accept. We neither decide the fixed nature of God, nor we impose the same fixed concept of God on everybody. Because regarding God, in religion I am talking, in Adi Daivika, Upasana, Shraddha, Bhakti, in religion area, in the area of religion, we have a neither fixed concept of God, fixed aspect of God, nor a fixed thing. We don't insist on that. Therefore, only thing is how good values, good thoughts, good feelings inspires, and how best you live up to those values. Okay? And don't impose on others, don't condemn others. Don't impose on others, don't condemn others, don't demonize others, don't destroy others. You live, important is your values, your thought. So at a religious level, these things we insist. Therefore, India has been living. And in fact, Hindus expect the same thing. They don't impose, but they expect. I tell you, this kind of thinking regarding religion, this noble open-minded understanding of religion, let the whole world adopt. I tell you, the Orthodox people don't indulge in conversion and all. Most of the Orthodox, most of the people, except a few people, most of the people don't indulge in any conversion, converting other people into Hinduism. But we expect that, let them correct their understanding of God. Let them remove the dogma and have a provisional understanding of God, provisional concept of God. But concentrate on the noble values and ideas and concepts he inspires and live them. And don't impose on others. These things, let them take from Hinduism, learn and adopt anywhere in their other religions, anywhere in the world. This is what Hindus expect. The Hindus' way of conversion, if there is, this is the way. When it comes to Vedanta, of course, everybody has to study Vedanta. Everybody has to undergo that Vedantic vichara. That everybody has to do. You have to do deeply studying Vedanta, all that is required. When it comes to religion, we don't impose but we expect that this kind of religious understanding, let all other religions adopt. You adopt. In fact, Vivekananda in the Parliament of Religions told the same thing. If they can adopt, let them adopt. So that this rigidity, first thing is remove the dogma. And that he inspires negative values of hating of others, this you remove. These things, Vivekananda told, we expected that. But all our expectations have failed because our people have not understood that they have a dogma which doesn't allow adopting this religious ideas which Hindus have. It doesn't allow them to adopt into their religion. A few people I am seeing are adopting somewhere in the world, but still it has not come to the large one. Largely it's not yet adopted. But except, at least in India, I can say, there is no adoption. Maybe Europeans Americans have become open-minded. They start believing rebirth. They start say that God can be imagined in different ways. As long as the principle of God he implies certain noble values and idea, a noble principle, that much is okay. But regarding the details about God, it can be provisional, it can be many aspects. So don't have a fixed concept of God. So this idea may be spreading in Europe and America, but in India, it is becoming day by day narrowing down. It is narrowing down. It is further rigid. Whatever the Europe and America has seen, the rigidity, the dogmatic nature in the earlier centuries, long before, all that is entering into India now. So the rigidity, whatever they have done in Europe, in America, in earlier centuries, oh, okay, they want to do that experiment in India. They have been doing. Even now it is happening. They have been doing in India. Therefore, they have not. In India, I can say, since I have not gone out of India, so I don't know. But from the books and others, I get a little gather. Europe and America has become a little open-minded. So Vivekananda's works have helped. It has worked. It has affected a little bit. So many people, many intellectuals, many thinkers have changed. But in India, is becoming a narrowing down. They are concentrating on India, and the same dogma is becoming more harder and harder, narrow and narrower, and more hateful. Vengeance, the demonizing of Hinduism is still continuing as it existed centuries before in Europe and America, long before. It got discredited, so Europe has left. Probably Europe and America has left out. But now they have shifted to India. Now their rigidity, their ego, their demonizing Hinduism, that destroying Hindu temples has not reduced. Even now we see the years of destroying Hindu temples. Even now they are destroying. Even now I am telling you, even today there is a destruction of temples, idols. Even now in India, we get here, news here, every day we get. So it has not reduced to come down at all. In fact, it has increased. So in India, that same dogma is continuing. So there is no spirituality, there is no religion. The same thing is. Europe might have changed. Therefore, when I have to tell all this, because some of the people outside India, so seeing their European American condition, they think that why is he talking still? That was a past of old days, centuries ago it existed. Now the church has become open and all that open. And in India, I don't know about outside, but in India it is worse than before. It is the same worst condition. Even now, Hindus are getting crushed. Okay? So that means the dogma has not changed. What values it inspires, what thoughts, what feelings it inspires continues. So that religion is not useful for Antakarana Shuddhi. That religion is not useful even for Swargaloka, I tell you. This kind of dogma, this kind of negative feelings and thoughts and actions is not going to take them to heaven, I tell you. All those persecuting fellows, all those are hateful people, will never go to heaven, I tell you. In the name of their religion, they are committing all crimes. They will definitely go to hell. Hell, not their hell, because their hell, that eternal hell, is meaningless. Such thing never exists. They will go and live in hell for some time and come back to human life. Hindus never condemn because there is no eternal hell. So they will go to hell, but after some time they will experience hell and come back to human janma, so that they will change and become a better human beings. Okay? So if they hate Hinduism, persecute Hindus, they will go to hell, live there for some time, and exhausting their papa, they will come back. But heaven, I tell you, they will not go. Eternal heaven, of course, it doesn't exist. But even tentative heaven, they will not go. All these persecuting religions, persecuting those who believe them and follow them and practice them, they will not go to heaven. They will go to hell, that I can assure you. So in the name of, because the very dogma doesn't inspire noble values and ideas, still demonizing, hating Hindus and Hinduism, even now the same thing continuing in India. Okay, so the context, little anuprasakti we call in Sanskrit, a little deviation, but not total deviation, in a way connected, not totally unconnected. So the religion gives you Antakarana Shuddhi. What is Shuddhi I have discussed. How it does it? the purpose of religion, what should be the frame of religion that I have given you. What is the true frame that Hindus have accepted? Because the religion which Hindus have accepted is based upon Vedanta. The other religions, the dogma and the persecution, the values the dogmas inspire are not based upon Vedanta. See, therefore, those religions are not based upon Vedanta. Therefore, they don't prepare you for Vedantic Vichara. But here, our religion, religious life of Ishtadevata, Upasana, Karma, Shraddha, Bhakti, rituals, customs, etc., family life and all those things, they are based upon Vedanta, Vedantic principles, Vedantic idea, and they prepare you for Vedanta. They don't do that because they are neither based upon Vedanta nor they prepare for Vedanta. So as some people after Vivekananda has gone have understood them, they have changed them, but still it has not come largely into the society. Some people follow, or it might be there little more in Europe and America than I understand sitting in India. So it may be little more. I always give a little more, okay, more than what I understand. But still it is not completely changed. But in India, not at all changed. You see the Islam, Christianity followers, they have never moved away from their dogma. What Vivekananda told, therefore, that Vivekananda's advice in the Parliament of Religions has been partly implemented to some extent in Europe and America, but Indians have been never implemented. They have been dead again. In fact, they are using Vivekananda's words to continue in the same dogma and the same persecution of Hinduism, demonizing of Hinduism. Okay, in fact, Vivekananda's teaching, not the people, our people are trying to say Vivekananda is more relevant to us, not to Hindus. Hindus have already over following Vivekananda. Okay, we are following Vivekananda more than Vivekananda expected. Okay, in certain area, it is those two religions have to follow Vivekananda's advice. Okay. In India particularly, start demonizing Hinduism, start destroying Hindu temples, and let them understand, first remove their dogma. As they grow their understanding of God also, let them understand their concept of God with the help of Hinduism. Okay? And how God inspires, what values inspires, what behavior inspires also. Let them learn from Hinduism, which Vivekananda taught there. And they thought that, shall I tell you a little sarcastically, I am telling you, the Indian Muslims and Christians are thinking probably that Vivekananda's advice is in America, therefore it is applicable to Americans and Europeans alone, therefore we can continue in the same dogma. So that Vivekananda, what he addressed in the Parliament of Religion should be brought here, particularly to those two people, those two religions. In fact, his address was meant for them. But Hindus are quoting. I say, not Hindus, they should. It is for them, they should listen. Therefore, so they are still trying to push their concept of God into Hinduism. They are waiting that Hindus also should have their concept of God, of hating another God, another concept. We didn't have and we don't have it. Because our God, our religion is based upon Vedanta. It prepares the people for Vedanta. Okay? And as long as we study Vedanta, our religion remains as pure as it has been. It doesn't allow the influence of them. So they have to change them. Okay? Then only Vivekananda's struggling hard. How much in those days, oh my God, how much he struggled hard to travel and reach America and then go there and to be able to speak to them. He has done so much. And then Europe and America has appreciated. Europe and West has appreciated, and partly they have implemented. And what is more required is our Indian Islam Christianity should implement it. Okay? Then only Vivekananda's teaching becomes really fruitful. Until then, they have understood that Vivekananda made them open-minded. They removed their dogma in Europe and West. Now, therefore, they are with a vengeance bringing the same dogma to India and undermining the Bengal they are undermining. Already Bangladesh has gone. Part of his Bengal is gone. Another part also they are trying to do. So they are not, instead of obeying Vivekananda, they are undermining Vivekananda's idea, Vivekananda's call for openness in their religion. Okay? So this is badly required. So our politicians are not implementing, our politicians are applying ulta, the totally negative meaning of Vivekananda's idea, they are applying in India. All religions are same, so that means those religions have to be treated specially, and Hinduism has to be suppressed. So our secularism is totally opposite feeling. Our politicians have understood Vivekananda ulta, because Vivekananda was speaking in Parliament of Religions, addressing them. These fellows probably listened from behind, sitting behind, back of Vivekananda. They understood the whole thing ulta. Our Indian intellectuals, our Indian politicians have understood ulta, and they are applying in India the dogmas. They are retaining the dogma. They are reinforcing their dogmas instead of making them lose their dogma and become open-minded like our religions, our Hindu sampradayas. Okay, I think more points are to be discussed. We'll discuss in the next class. Okay, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat.